Let's get to know one of our ISC speakers and facilitators a little bit better today. Patti Malott is the Executive Director for Church Supplies and Services. You may know them as the Church Co+Op. Patti Malott joins us now via Skype from Texas. Patti, before we get started, I know you've been teaching at ISC for a long time. How did you discover Shelby Systems, and how did you become involved with us?
Don, it goes way back to the early 80s. We were on another system and saw the need to improve, and so Ron McClarty showed up, and we spent some time with him and went with Shelby. And really, I think Spring Baptist Church is still with Shelby today, as well as many other churches that we've told about. We not only like the Shelby software, but we really enjoy working with the Shelby folks in Memphis.
Patti, you're the Executive Director for the Church Co+Op. Can you tell us what the Church Co+Op does, who you assist, and how long you've been serving those ministries?
The Co-op was started back in 1988 by a group of administrators in Houston that came together just like a farmer's co-op and said, if we pool our resources together, we could order in volumes. I serve as executive director. I have a real passion for helping churches keep money back into ministry dollars and not administrative. So we connect the people with the resources. Our vendors provide discounted pricing on their goods and services, and we also give discounted pricing on education.
Patti, you're also the director for the annual Texas Ministry Conference. What can you tell us about that conference, and how long have you guys been meeting?
Don, that conference goes back almost as long as the Co-op's been in existence. It started in the early 90s, and it started out for support staff. We added administrators along the way, and about 7 years ago, we saw the potential to help ministries of every level on church staffs and nonprofits. So we switched the name to Texas Ministry Conference, added a pastor's track, and most recently we added a Hispanic track for Spanish-speaking individuals. And today we run right under 1,000 people for a one-day conference. And we love seeing the people come together and learning and networking with our vendors and just having a great day.
Well, Patti, you certainly are a busy lady. You also founded Upright Ministries in 2002. What can you tell us about that organization, and what is your role there?
And you're right. I'd say very busy. I have such a passion for helping churches save money and have it go towards good stewardship. I was on staff at churches for 23 years, and I was helping one church at a time. And I did decide that God was calling me to help many churches instead of one, so I founded Upright Ministries, and our main focus has been to help churches streamline processes and safeguard people. We kind of run that as a value add through the co-op, and we give deep pocket of discounts for the services.
Well, looks like you're going to be teaching 4 classes this year at ISC 2015 in San Antonio. Let's start off with the first one. It's called 15 Things Every Nonprofit Should Know. So can you give us an overview of some of the things you'll be covering in that class, and maybe list one of those 15 things for us?
This is one of my favorite classes to teach because it doesn't matter the size of the organization or how long they've been in existence. These areas are very important that everybody should be covering. We cover things like the governing board, conflicts of interest, policies and procedures, fundraising. One of the topics we'll cover is conflict of interest. For instance, who needs a conflict of interest policy? Who approves it? How often do you have to send it out? So they'll go away knowing all these things that will help them in their organization.
Take a Human Resources Pit Stop. Now that's an interesting class name. Patti, who would be a good candidate for this class, and what can they expect to learn?
This is a class for human resource directors, business administrators, or anyone working with the hiring and firing processes on a church staff. We will take a look at several of the employment practices, the processes, and I'll be providing tips to help them, and will also help them reduce their risk of litigation.
Your session on the morning of June the 11th is titled Build a Loyal Fan Network Internally and Externally. So why is that something a Shelby customer would want to do, and how can they accomplish that goal?
Every Shelby customer has influence over others, whether it's negative or positive, and we do want to be a positive influence in our organization. This class will help us take a look at what makes us want to follow certain people. Why would people want to follow us? To increase our influence in our circles, not only on staff and with our peers, but outside our organization and even with our volunteers. So I think that this is going to be an interesting class on broadening that sphere of influence.
I have to admit that your final class sounds like the most interesting one to me. It's called Core Behaviors of Remarkable Leaders. So can you tell us one of those core behaviors that you're going to talk about in the class, and then maybe mention one of those leaders that exhibited that trait?
Remarkable leaders achieve big goals by taking small steps. We'll look at John Grisham. I'll use him for an example. He worked full-time as an attorney. He wrote that book one page at a time. His first book, A Time to Kill, which is a hit. He continues to do that today, one page at a time. In our organizations, sometimes we look at projects and say, oh, it's so big, I just can't get it done today, so I'll just shelve it. But if we were to take and divide that in pieces and spend even a half hour a day on some of those, then it'll help us create big things in small time. And so that's one of those cores, and we'll look at even deeper. All cores are really important to be successful in our organization.
Well, Patti, it's been a real pleasure getting to know you a little bit better today. Thanks for taking the time to Skype with us. As you know, the conference is coming up very, very soon, ISC 2015 in San Antonio, Texas, June the 10th through the 12th. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our customers as they prepare for this year's conference?
Don, I'm so excited about the conference this year. As every year, I've been teaching at this conference for at least 10 years. And I always look forward to it because I have been in the shoes of the Shelby users. I've been there, served on the staffs, and can relate to that. And also I can bring my experiences into the picture and help them in their role today. So I always look forward to it. And I really like that face-to-face connection we get at the Shelby Conference and the networking. And I look forward to visiting with some of the people I've been seeing every year for years there and meeting more too.
Patti Malott is just one of the excellent speakers and facilitators at International Shelby Conference. If you'd like to learn who some of the other speakers are, just visit the website that you see there on the screen. And while you're there, go and sign up for the conference if you haven't done that already. This year's ISC is going to be amazing. We look forward to seeing you there June 10th through 12th in San Antonio, Texas.